was at the Rock and Roll Museum last week, so I picked up this shirt. So I had to wear it, right? How you feeling? Yeah.
Graham was in South Africa. He is South African. He is from South Africa. And I was here in Toronto. And we are in a relationship. 2 months later, we were planning the wedding. And 4 months later, I flew to South Africa with my wedding dress. And we got married 4 days after we physically met. And it was over 2.5 years ago. And why I share that story, it's pretty much that story reminds me of that 4-minute mile. Until somebody was able to break that record, it was inconceivable. But the moment one person was able to do that, so many thousands of people were able to do it. Ever since we actually shared that story with people, there were such a changes in the way people meet, how they meet, how long there is that courtship going on. Before it was like a year, then there was another year of engagement, and then the marriage. It's all crap. It's all about... Yes, it is.
But it's an interesting journey. You know, I was a mom at 16, and then pregnant again at 47, a mom again at 48. Yes, I'm insane. I'm certifiable, I guarantee it. But you know what? I've had an interesting life. I'll bet you figured that out. But you know what comes with an interesting life? Yeah, same thing. You know what comes with that? A real sense that everybody's okay. You know, it's not easy for me to judge somebody else. Because I'll tell you, if I'm judging you about anything, that'd be a little bit like, you know, I've been there, done that, so who am I to talk? I don't judge people. I accept you where you are for who you are. And the reason for that is I accept me, where I am for who I am. With every single mistake I made, because all of them made me this person. And this person's okay.
You know, I trolled those job boards every day and applied and carefully crafted my cover letter. And as I'm doing this, my bank account is going down because I'm not being paid. I even pulled some strings. And you know, despite being a new immigrant, I had a few pretty top-notch strings, but no job. No job. And some friends gave me some advice, you know, well-meaning friends gave me advice. So here's 2 that I think you'll love. Marguerite, why don't you take Harvard off your resume? That's when I went to my laptop and I opened my resume and I changed. I have a Harvard MBA to I earned a Harvard MBA. Because, God damn it, I earned it. And I was not taking it off my resume.
So I lived with knowing that one day, this thing that I didn't want to look at, this big, scary thing, the fact that I would one day need a pacemaker, this was going to come. And it did come. I was in second year university, in class, just another day, and for some reason, suddenly, the world started to spin. And it kept spinning. I was having a dizzy spell. And as I stumbled home, I knew, deep down, I knew this was it. It was my heart. This was the moment that was going to change everything. And somewhere in that, even in all of that fear, after carrying around this weight of denial and shame and fear for so long, there was also this little kernel of relief.
In 2008, I experienced 2 major issues. The first one was the global recession. And so my book of business went from being that big to that small. And then I had to deal with the second biggest issue, which probably the biggest issue I've dealt with in my personal life, and that is to lay off 11 of my staff members. Let me tell you something. When you run a boutique firm, Your staff members are your family. And just picture this. Imagine this, walking in one day to your family and telling them, I can't have you, I can't have you, I can't have you, I can't have you anymore. And I'm so sorry. And that is the most uncoolest, uninnovative thing I've ever done in my life. I mean, it's not the process of doing it, it's also the emotional part of it after.
He took me to my first jam session. And everywhere. When I started to sing, and I was so scared, and my knees would knock, and my voice would shake so bad, and I couldn't sing on key if my life depended on it. All these amazing jazz musicians showed up everywhere and said, you can do this. You can do this. So I went, and I went, and I went, and I went. And the first day that I got paid, I went, I'm in heaven and I'm getting paid to be here. This is really cool. And 3 years later, I moved away from Vancouver into Toronto and I stopped singing. And then I got really sad. And I missed it really a lot. All of a sudden, the door opened again, and I got invited to sing at a wedding, and I met this amazing jazz couple who are incredible friends now. And they showed up, and they kept inviting me to places and introducing me to people and, just laying the tracks without me even knowing they were doing it.
Y'all forget sex down. Who that ask me why? Y'all me ask me question a Frankie guy. Some fatty. So how you act so shy? Me no make kitty but me da like a blind. Why? Just raise your foot up high. Cause I believe you can fly straight to the sky. Between him and me, between your tie. Me no Batman, half a me no Robin guy. If you and I ever not to tie, no shy. When me stab it then you reply.